All right, guys, I am headed downstairs to the basement. As you know, in the Midwest, we had a lot of tornadoes and some major storms. Winds got to 100 miles per hour and knocked down trees, power lines, and there's a lot of houses that lost electricity. My house lost electricity, people in the neighborhood, and from what I understand, the way it goes as far as who gets their power back on first, of course, is emergency people like hospitals, police department, and fire departments. And then after that, large apartment buildings, major neighbor with a lot of areas with a lot of people that get their power back on. And the people that live in regular neighborhoods, like densely populated neighborhoods, they get their power on next. And then regular neighborhoods is the last to get their power on. And the really bad thing about it is when it comes time to pay the electric bill to keep your electric service on, everybody is treated the same. Now, some people were lucky enough to have generators. A lot of people wasn't. Generators cost a lot of money. And my family is one of the people that couldn't afford a generator. Even when I was working, I couldn't afford one. The generator I needed to run this house would cost about $12,000-$14,000 to be able to hook up everything, and I just didn't have the money. But I'm gonna show you guys what I did to keep. I didn't lose any food, because people are losing food and everything. When your power is out, it's bad enough that it's out for hours, but when your power is out for days at a time, and some people 10 days, possibly more, no power, you're going to definitely lose your food. Now, what I'm getting ready to show you is, this is how I normally live and stock up. And this is what saved me from losing any food. And I'm getting ready to share it with you right now. Now, as you can see here, I have a medium-sized freezer. And I have a large freezer. This freezer is next to the largest you can get in the chest area. And I'm going to show you guys something. But see, this have to be done ahead of time. You see all this food and stuff in here? All this, see how it's stacked? See how it's stacked? This is bags and bags and bags and bags of chicken. Of course, we've been cooking out of here. But when you load your freezer full of food that can hold the cold, hold the frost. See, look at this, guys. Bags and bags of chicken, even in these plastic containers, from the top all the way down to the bottom. Once the freezer is closed and everything is frozen, it's going to stay frozen for at least 5 days before it starts to unthaw. We didn't have anything, any of the food in here, none of it unthawed, like in a regular refrigerator freezer. That's because it is large enough and have more room where you're able to stack more meat. And what happens is, once it's frozen, and we also have our freezers turned up. My husband have one over in his area too. His freezer is stacked up to the top. And what happens is, when you have your freezer stacked up to the top, what happens is and you have it turned on, the setting turned on to the highest setting, what happens is that the frozen food support each other. As long as you don't keep opening the freezer, your food will stay frozen. Now, a lot of people, now here is the regular freezer for the refrigerator. Now, if I'd had any meat or anything in this freezer, everything would have went bad, because it's attached to the refrigerator, and how it keeps the refrigerator cold is the frost part from the top, or the cold from the top circulates down to the bottom of the refrigerator, and it ends up not being able to hold the cold and hold the frost and keep the food frozen. A lot of people make the mistake where they, okay, I'm gonna let you see this again. Like I was saying, a lot of people make the mistake with freezers like this, because I know some of you guys are gonna say, well, I have a freezer like that and my food didn't stay frozen. A lot of people make the mistake of putting everything in these chest freezers, not just meat, but ice cream and waffles, pancakes, whatever that's supposed to be frozen. And that stuff is not, those type of foods are not dense enough to be able to hold, to support each other and stay frozen. So this is how we did it, and because we always stock up like this, it makes a big difference when it comes down to a power outage, because you never know how long the power outage is going to be, and so you want to be prepared. This is a hell of a lot cheaper. Buying a freezer and filling it, always keeping it stocked full of meat, is always cheaper than a generator. Now, if you can afford a generator, that is always a good thing. But if you cannot afford a generator, you have to do something different. And this is what we've been doing all along. 4 days. We didn't have power for 4 days. We didn't lose any food, and everything stayed frozen as if the electricity was never turned off. Our neighbors, God bless their soul, they lost all of their food. And so did a lot of people, and a lot more people are losing food because they don't have power. And it's especially terrifying and scary when you have just went shopping and spent your last money on food, and now you just lost everything. Another thing is, if you have eggs in the refrigerator, take those eggs out of the refrigerator and boil them. Hard-boiled eggs will last longer than fresh, uncooked eggs. So take the eggs out of the refrigerator and boil them. And you can always put them back in the refrigerator. Your condiments are fine. And whatever it is that is in your regular freezer, refrigerator, freezer, if you have a chest freezer, take everything out of your refrigerator, freezer, and put it in your chest freezer. But you have to make sure that your chest freezer is filled with enough dense foods, which is meat, in order to keep the rest of the refrigerator cold. Now, you can always, if your freezer is like halfway full or 3/4 way full, you can always buy bags of ice, stack it on the top of the meat and stuff that's in the freezer, close the lid down, and try not to go inside of the freezer as much as possible, because the longer the freezer doors stay closed, the better it is for the food. You can also get dry ice from different stores in your area, like Walmart, and you can use bagged ice and dry ice. And the dry ice will keep the regular ice, the bagged ice, from thawing out, which will keep everything inside the freezer frozen. You can also use that. But anyway, guys, that is the end of this video. Oh, and I forgot to add in the last video that I kept on my electric companies behind. Every hour I was texting out, power outage, out, and reporting a power outage. Now, I don't know if that did any good, but it made me feel a lot better that I was able to just harass them. I harassed the hell out of them, because like I said, they treat people differently depending on where they live at. But when it comes to paying your power bill, everybody is treated the same. If you don't pay your bill, your power gets shut off. And I don't think that's fair, because as bad as this storm was last week and people are still feeling the effects, these different states should have called in from the very beginning, help from outside sources from the very beginning. They waited until they knew that they could not handle the power outage alone to start calling people in. And that's sad. That's very sad, because the way the economy is, we need whatever resource that we can obtain on our own. All right, guys. Like I said, that's the end of the video. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what state you live in. If major storms hit your state, if you lost power, how long did your power stay off? Was you able to preserve food? And if you were, how did you do it? And let me know if you did anything special, or you thought that helped to get your power back on a little bit sooner. All right, guys, let's work together to live better. And always, always, thank you for watching.